Hello, welcome back to episode 2. An update, no message from Gotham just yet. So let's kick off with our second game of Rapid and see if we do any better than what we had in that first one, which was a bit of a stinker. Let's see if we can notice that with the game. Here we go. Right, opponent going for a London setup. Interesting. Seem to waste the tempo there. I'm not quite sure how to punish it. Let's get the bishop outside the pawn chain. Let's start with h6. So the option of g5, knight e4 immediately. Option of c5. Quite like c5 here. Do I'll start knight d7 first. Like I said, I think opponents wasted a move with those two early bishop moves. Now we get e3, c5 now. Opponent 900 games, joined 7 months ago. Queen b6. Usually the kind of ideas that you play as white, but like I say, given that the opponent moved the bishop twice in the opening, I feel like I've almost got the white pieces in this opening. So pressure on b2, and there's no c2 square because of this bishop. So opponent goes queen b3. Now, standard moves, I think c4, so we get access to this file for the rook. We trade ourselves, so that's... is that useful? So takes, bishop here. You can't move your rook because your knight hangs. Is that a move? And if he pushes, he gets horrible pawn structure. So I think this is a line. So we'll take bishop into c2, and then ask the question: what are you going to do with that b3 pawn? The opponent's still a good few moves away from castling. You might take on. Do you take on c5? Because yeah, on b4, my thought was to trade here. Excuse me. A trade here and you have horrible isolated pawns. I think that's got to be right. Now e6, put pressure on the pawn. I've got to be slightly careful of this coming out here. But I think we're okay. So opening up the bishop. b5. I feel like there should be lots of options available to us here. We still got the check, or we could eliminate the knight first and play the check to remove castling rights. We can move this knight up to a better square. Lots of options. I think I'm going to keep the bishops on. I'll start with this check. This knight's got to jump to one of these two. Now this becomes a bit stronger, putting pressure on that pinned piece. Is this got to be slightly careful of, but I had the escape square. I can retreat the bishop back to b3. Right, so knight's out. I can bring the rook over again to add even more pressure. That does drop a7. I can bring the bishop here to eliminate the knight. Pick up a piece, pawn. So I think this will be coming, won't it? Or maybe play g5, force it back and trade it off. Yeah, because I'm a bit worried that you can start to build up a bit here. Kind of like starting with g5, I think. Push the bishop up there. I'm going to go for it. Like I said, I didn't really like this die coming forward, my bishop getting trapped offside. It's obviously quite a weakening move on my king side, but we'll see if we can make it work. I think bishop g3 kind of forced. I was thinking there's no real decent squares on this diagonal because each of these are taken. c7 is the only kind of viable square, or back to h2. Right, so that's in there now. I was thinking castles. King kind of tied down. Yeah, because I want to apply more pressure to the knight, so after we castle we can get the rook that's on the h8 square out to c8 to apply more pressure. I think that's what we'll do. And on any f3 we've got the option to trade and then apply some pressure. There we go, f3 played. So if I take immediately, you can take with the pawn, and that kind of dissolves my attack. I have the option of going back, but I did play my knight out there to get rid of this bishop, so we'll do that. Trades with the knight, and then we can apply some pressure with the rook. We've also got the option of rerouting the bishop if needed. So I think now over here, anticipating rook here, and I might have this move potentially. Yeah, although I don't think it's that effective given that the f1 bishop is protecting that pawn. Yeah, okay, of course, goes back with the knight. But now bishop here I think is quite strong, attacking that pinned pawn. threatening to take the knight and win a pawn on c3. Okay, 4. Don't know if I can maintain my bishop. Okay, yeah, goes for it. Okay, 4. Maybe I should have gone knight b6 first. So we can. I don't think we want to take this knight first. We could do. We could trade everything and end up. Okay, so this line, if takes, and if he takes with the pawn, we pick it up, and that's a clean pawn. After trading here, so takes with the pawn, we exchange here, pick up the pawn there. There would be this rook over there at the end, so maybe even that's not super clear. Or the alternative, we take there, bishop takes. Yeah, that's the same line where everything comes off and in. That's that line. Or bishop takes there, and there. What we're left with there, knights playing against a slightly weakened pawn. Or we move the bishop away and maintain the pin. We have got a bishop pair, but I don't know how useful it is. I'm thinking move the bishop away. I quite like this diagonal. Put the knight in and kind of reapply, because it's going to take him some goes to retangle. Excuse me. Yeah, so I'm thinking opponent probably wants to move the knight out of the way to develop this bishop out. But anytime this knight moves, we put our bishop here so we can cover this g3 square with check. So anything like knight there, bishop there. I'm thinking ultimately this manoeuvre is going to be quite strong, attacking both these weak pawns. Well, we've managed to blow about a 5-minute time advantage. Opponent's only spent a minute so far, whilst I'm down to 9 in a bit. Yeah, actually, something I didn't even consider was rook up there. Would have been maybe a bit more of a testing line. I don't know, it has its own complications. Wow. G4, interesting. So yeah, like I say, I think this is the way we want to go with our knight, and I think that's what we want to be doing. Force the rook back and probably go in for the same manoeuvre. And the rook might have to go here. So if rook goes to a2, I mean, one option is bishop c4, but like I say, I think the knight wants to end up there ultimately. So I'd imagine if we get that of rook going back, we'll likely play our bishop into b4. try and repeat the same kind of structure, and ultimately this pawn being loose at the end. Goes all the way back. A1. So knight there straight away is going to pick up one of those pawns, isn't it? So I think the only complication is there. E4 is the only thing we've got to calculate. And I think trading and picking up there is going to be good enough. So let's hop in. Taking the 2 pawns which can't both be defended. Actually, might have been a bit quick to jump in. It's B3, and we take there. Do we end up with our knight getting trapped anyway? Okay. Knight goes back, so I think on this line opponent could be in some trouble here, so we're going to take there and we pick up a tempo with the knight as we come in, so I think it's got to be that. And if he takes with rook, we've also got this coming in towards the end. The position's starting to open up now in our favour. This move attacks the knight. So okay, right. I think there's trouble afoot here. So we're taking this pawn with the knight, and once we're there, we'll be attacking the rook and this fork here. So I think the only move is rook up, in which case we can pin it with the bishop. So let's go for that. So now, yeah, and as predicted, rook there. So I think bishop g3 should just be game over. Rather than just picking up the exchange, if the opponent does nothing, I think the major threat is knight c2, picking up a full rook. I say that is likely to get stuck in the corner. But we're currently up a pawn, winning at least an exchange here. The opponent's got horrible double pawns. Yes, so is there anything better? Opponent wants to take back. Okay. Not quite sure. It's always a bit suspect when they're after a take back and they don't play a move immediately, which makes me think it's not a nice mouse slip that's been played here, but we'll let them have it anyway. I didn't think that move was that terrible. 92, and I think, yeah, given the amount of time it's elapsed, it's definitely not a mouse slip, is it? They've probably seen that. So I think it's time to cash in. So actually my knight is pretty close to getting trapped, but we have this at the end, and again it's another going to be picking up the pawn here. A bit much, like rook a4, rook c4. So now, given that my knight has no squares, I think getting it out is top priority. And getting rid of opponent's rook can only be a good thing too. So the main counterplay has got to be this b5 pawn and any hopes of queening it or pins down here, but I think they'll likely have to exchange, and it won't be long before some of these pawns start dropping. People always got to be a bit careful when there's knights on the board. There's no b3 because the c3 knight hangs. Okay, he does trade on c4. A d4 pawn's attacked, and I can bring extra pressure there, which I don't think you can defend against. So we'll do that. Again, opponent's going to struggle to create counterplay in this position. No way to easily get out my pawns on the next couple of moves. No way to defend d4 adequately. Pawn breaks aren't amassing too much, so we'll see what they go for. E4. A check there. Is that anything to worry about? I don't think so. Trading down, so we're now, what are we? 7 pawns against 5, so we're 2 pawns up, plus the exchange. Part of me thinks it might be, well, it could be doable even just to sack the rook off here, couldn't it? But you just got to be careful of doing silly things like that. Pawn up, corner like that. Do I maybe check, force him back? Go this way. You can come in there. Like I say, I've just got to avoid putting my rook on these squares and throwing the game, and everything should work out. It's probably winning and semi-clean to take the knight there, up 2 pawns, but I think this should get the job done. Opponent has knight here, but we could pick up a pawn with check, and we're probably going to be queening. This is going to be our strong asset, and we've probably got moves like a5 as well to push. Knight's frozen, otherwise b5 hangs. Just need that pawn. I think with these two outside passes, if I get to a position now where I can I think there's the only easy way of trading this off. I'm thinking a5, let him win the pawn, pin the knight, and take the knight off the board. a5, knight there. Maybe just pin the knight first. Yeah, pin the knight, actually you can't take, can you? b5. Yep, so nice to move away. I think b5, b4, a5, a4. Start with b5. This might go back to d1. We've got b4. Oh, do I want to do that, or do I just want to let him take? And let's let him take. If you take the pawn, I'll take it off the board, and a totally dominant king pawn in game with zero risk. So I think that's the way to go. Two connected passes out here which you can't touch, and 1,000 different ways you can win 4 and 3 over this side, given his king will be tied down. Yeah, opponent resides. Right, good.